Hi everybody. Okay, I'd like to talk about what's the soul. I've been thinking many years about this subject, and in the end, only one thing made sense to me. Now, the card I got to help me with this expand my uh, ideas and ability to explain uh, the thoughts is the Queen of Swords upright. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so the Queen. What's interesting to me, the first thing I noticed about this Queen, and I think she's in a way uh, a little bit different from the other queens. The reader seems to be at her side, and the Queen seems to be different. Busy with other things different from talking to the reader. It doesn't look like, because I mentioned in another video, when characters face you or don't face you, it's a sign of awareness or how we should focus our own personal awareness. So, what's the soul? So, I'd like to start at this point and say, um, we should all learn how to approach our souls, because maybe does the soul exist or not, and what is it? Some religious people might say, I don't believe in a soul, and I think you might be right. But what is it then? What is the soul if it's not something religious? And if you can stick around, maybe we can talk about it. So first of all, you'll have to know. All right, before I ramble too much, let me say what's my opinion about what's the soul. It's your memories. It's your genes. Right. So if there is a God, and excuse me if I'm offending anybody, but if there is a God, and you need to stand before judgment in front of this God, what's he gonna judge if not your memories and your character? But okay, that's just an interesting thought. Let's all forget all about God and say, um, what is your soul? And I honestly think it's not something abstract or obscure, but I do warn you, I will be using some religious terminology in this video, so yes. Okay. I'd like to also stay as true as possible to uh, reality and modern thinking at the same time. So, firstly, we know it's going to be difficult for us to approach our soul, because maybe it's not straightforward. We may think if it's our memories and so on, it will be easy because it's ours. But is it really so easy? So we have the sword in the right hand of the woman, which is the conscious, and the queen is holding out her hand as if to beckon or to receive with her left hand. So maybe the soul is all about the subconscious when she's holding out her left hand. But how she acts, okay, so swords represent um, obviously attack and defense, but in this case specifically, we also know that swords represent uh, words and thoughts. That's also the cloud in the background, that huge cloud in the background. So I'm going to talk about the spirit as well, and what's the difference. So I don't think the soul is something abstract, because if it were, I mean, you live your life gleefully and happily, and when you die, some strange thing leaves your body. I don't think that's the soul. I think the soul can't be anything but who we are, our feelings, our mind, our words. So I've thought about this also for a very long time, and I think the soul is the words inside. Because when you think about it, everything is words, everything is a story. Your soul is a story, okay? Think about it. What's in your mind? It's got a beginning, perhaps, and an end. Um, and you, when you talk, it sounds like a story you're telling. So maybe you speak what's on your mind. You're speaking your soul, right? Um, and it's not just your soul that's a story or words. It's the words inside. That's your soul. But all the things around you, it's like living inside a book. And you're maybe a chapter or two. And if you can stick with the symbolism and stick around, why do I say everything is words? Well, I mean, if we really do take the time, we can, to a large extent, with the help of many people, put everything we see into words. Right? And we do have to keep in mind that we take in all our surroundings with dealing with people, looking at things, that grey concrete wall you have to look at every day when you're lying in the hospital, that nurse that comes to you and talk to you, or when you're in the office and you're in this cubicle, that's a story. And we take all these things in, not knowing that's a story, that it is narrative and it is impacting, it's on our lives and on our psyche. Right? So everything in you and around you is words. I wrote a poem before I perfected the art of iambic pentameter. It goes something along the lines like this: the words inside, the story of your soul. It tells a dark tale full of pain and woe. The world a book which your happiness stole, a world full of letters you do not know. Now, some of us are more happy, I suppose, and brighter than this grim start, but I do promise maybe I'll include the poem, because it's not a sonnet, it's not perfect. It's before I perfected the art of writing sonnets. So the thing is, we live inside a book, and we're the characters, and our souls. There's a vista and legions of ideas that you can come up with when you start thinking in this kind of symbolism while talking about the soul. So, alright, I'm going to leave you with those ideas, and you can do with it what you want. I'd like to try and keep this video short, but it's a complicated topic. So, the spirit, I think, is perhaps more the thing that connects your soul with something else, maybe the spirit world, if you want to think along those kind of lines. Some people wouldn't, but you could also call it energy that keeps everything together, maybe on a quantum level. So the spirit is the thing, with quantum entanglement and all those things. The spirit is the thing that transports and conveys and holds the soul together. Okay, so the spirit is the clouds in the card of the Queen of Swords. And what I think we need to learn is how to approach our soul right, because the reader turns the card and the Queen isn't facing him, she's facing somebody or something else. So many of us who are not good with memorizing things, we experience that it's hard putting information into your head, firstly. And secondly, you don't know what goes into your mind through your senses every day and how you process that. So maybe your soul, even though it's yours, it's your memories, the words inside, it's not that simple. So maybe learning your own soul is a mystery. And maybe your environment, your decorations, and the people you talk to, and what you allow into your mind, it has a deeper impact than you think, because it's like adding to your own story all the time. And when you talk, you're adding to somebody else's story all the time, whether they entertain it or not. It even has an emotional impact on them. So this is what I think a soul is and a spirit is. It's narrative, and it's not just you. You're also living in a book, and you have to be careful. And it's better, and I think this is a good point to make to close the video, as a closing point. Be your own writer in life. Write your own story. You determine what you want to take in and how you want to deal with it, how you want your life to unfold, what you want to entertain in your mind. You should be the author of your own soul, if your soul truly is words. Okay, so in my next video I'll be speaking about ideas, and are our ideas truly our own? Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers.